Well, hello, thank you for joining me today again on the Church History Trail. And where we are is we're actually at Killinchy, and Killinchy is a village in County Down, and we're at Killinchy Parish Church. And as you can see, this is also the Livingstone Centre, and that's John Livingstone there, that photo of. And John Livingstone, of course, was a minister here in Killinchy. And here's what it says: Reverend John Livingstone, born in Moneybrack, Kilsyth, I think it is, in 1603. Early Protestant minister in Killinchy, beginning in 1630. He lived here with his wife Janet Fleming, 1613 to 1694, married 1635. A leading Covenanter, he was exiled to the Netherlands in 1662, and he died in Rotterdam 9th of August 1672. And his memory from his American descendants is 2017. So there you are. And of course they have a living museum inside, upstairs and downstairs. So if you're coming here to Killinchy, make sure that you check out the wee museum. You can have tea and coffee as well in there. And so this is Killinchy Parish Church, and it's also the Livingstone Centre, which is like a wee museum. Big American connection here as well, and it says all welcome. And so the Reverend John Livingstone was born in Scotland on the 21st of June 1603. And this graveyard, I have to say, is absolutely jam-packed with old headstones from the 18th century, but there's also some from the 17th century as well. Now, I haven't located any of the 17th century ones because I was preoccupied with two guys from the 18th century, and that was two United Irishmen that were hanged in Downpatrick and who are actually buried here. And I have actually located their graves. It didn't take me long to locate them. One of them I had to scrape the grass off. You would hardly know it was there, or at least you'd hardly know who it was. But I located both of them, and so I hope to do that in another wee video. And so Livingstone then came over to Ireland in 1630 by invitation of Lord Clandeboy, and soon afterwards he became the minister of Killinchy in the Diocese of Down. And in 1631 Livingstone was suspended for nonconformity, but he was restored by the intervention of Archbishop James Ussher. And of course, James Ussher is well known for his chronology of Genesis, where he counted up the genealogies and came to approximately 6,000 years for the age of the earth. And so in 1631 then Livingstone was suspended for nonconformity, but he was restored by the intervention of Archbishop James Ussher. And in 1635 he married Janet Fleming in Scotland, and then a few years later he was deposed and excommunicated again for the same reason, nonconformity. Amazing graveyard this, isn't it? Absolutely fantastic. And then in September 1636 he and some English Puritans as well as Scottish Puritans sailed for New England in a ship called the Eagle Wing, which sailed from Groomsport, and that Groomsport's in County Down, and there were about 140 in all. So quite amazing. And because of bad weather they had to turn back, believing that this was God's will for them. And I'm going to show you an old stone here, and it's very plain, as you can see. It's lying down. It says here left the body of William Stewart, who died I think that's get a closer look at that. I think that's the third. No, it's the fifth, because there's a TH, so it has to be, I think it's the fifth. It is the 5th of May 1804, and he was aged 85 years. Here left the body of Margaret Stewart, his, what does that say? Can't make that one out. But it's wife to Williams Stewart of Ballycreely, I think that is, who departed this life 30th of May 1763. So that's an old grave, isn't it? 1763. And 46th year of her age. And then their children John and Martha. Also his son Thomas Stewart. And he departed this life May the 29th, 1773. Aged 21 years. So there you go. That's an old memorial. And from 1763 up to 1804. So quite amazing. And as I say then, because of bad weather, they turned back and they believed that this was the will of God for them. And then on the 5th of July 1638, he became minister of Stranraer. And in 1654 he actually preached before Oliver Cromwell in London. And he died on the 9th of August 1682 in Rotterdam, to which he had been exiled on the 9th of April 1663. You can see the old graves here, so I hope to record some of these for you. Fantastic. And so he was exiled out of Rotterdam for his refusal to acknowledge the king as supreme in all matters civil and ecclesiastic. And there's a grave there that definitely will need a good scraping. There's no doubt about it. And there's another grave there. It's got a crest on it. See if I can get a date on this one. And that one's 16, I think 17, by the looks of things. Yep. That looks like a 16, I think. 16, 17. At least that's what it looks like to me. You can be your judge yourself. So who's it off? Because it's got a crest on it, so it must be somebody pretty influential, you would think. So this is the earliest one I've found then, 1617. By Samuel Laurie, Hamilton Square of Ballydorn. Can't make some of that out. Samuel L. Hamilton, I think. But it's definitely 1617. So that's quite early. That's one of the earliest graves that I've ever come across. And so they were a squire, so they were a pretty well-to-do family, high up. What's this one? That's 1794. As you can see there. And 1793 there. So these are old graves as well. Oh, this is Clinchy House. So let's see if I can, should be able to read this, if I can see it from the distance. I can't make the name out. Departed this life 8th of May 1774. You can see there on that one. Age 70 something. And then 1793, as I say, remains of their son. So Clinchy House. Now I'm not sure, in fact I don't know where Clinchy House was, but certainly that's a Clinchy House. So some old graves here. Now there's another minister that I want to talk to you about as well, because that's the Reverend Michael Bruce. And the Reverend Michael Bruce was also a minister here in this parish in Clinchy. And of course both these men were Presbyterians as well. both John Livingstone and also Reverend Michael Bruce. Now, I've done a series on the Bruce family because Michael Bruce's grandson, who is also called Michael Bruce, is buried along with other members of the family in Hollywood Prairie. And their family goes right back. They have a connection with the Bruce, Robert the Bruce. So make sure you check out that video, because the grave there is very plain, very readable. And there was 7 ministers in that family, successive ministers. So William Bruce, one of the later ones, in the 18th century, he fought on the government side during the 1798 rebellion. But getting back to the original Michael Bruce, Reverend Michael Bruce, in 1657, he was ordained in Colinchey by the Presbytery of Ulster. He was a Presbyterian. John, of course, was a Presbyterian, John Livingstone as well, but with a connection to the parish church as well, minister of the parish church. And he was Presbytery of Ulster. He was ordained in Colinchey by the Presbytery of Ulster on the recommendation of the Reverend John Livingstone. So it was actually John Livingstone who recommended him. And not only that, but he actually took over from the Reverend John Livingstone. And Reverend Bruce was despised by Bishop Jeremy Taylor for his nonconformity. And I've actually done a few videos on Jeremy Taylor. I've even done his grave in Dromore Cathedral, so you can check out those if you're interested in Jeremy Taylor. And then later, Michael fled to Scotland, where he was actually from originally. And this is a fantastic day for it, I have to say. The sun is absolutely splitting the trees here. It's fantastic. And so I'm certainly enjoying my wee day out. And so in 1670, Michael settled once more at Colinchey. And then in 1689, the Reverend Bruce was forced from Ireland by the Irish during the Williamite Wars in Ireland. So he was forced back to Scotland. And he was preaching one day in his pulpit in Scotland. And it was on the same day that Killiecrankie was fought, which was part of the Williamite Wars in Scotland, the 27th of July, 1690. And he prophesied the death of Bonnie Dundee, or Cleaver House, or as some would call him, certainly the Covenanters would call him Bloody Cleaver House. And here's what he says: Cleaver House shall be cut short this day. I see him killed and lying a corpse. And that's exactly what happened. Cleaver House was cut down that day, and he was killed at the Battle of Killiecrankie. And Michael, the Reverend Michael Bruce, he died then at Antworth in Scotland in 1693, and he's actually buried there. And of course, Antworth has a big connection with the Reverend Samuel Rutherford, who is another famous minister. And so I hope you've enjoyed this wee tour, and watch out for the next video, because in the next video I'm going to show you 2 graves, and the 2 graves are of 2 United Irishmen. So thanks for watching, and God bless.